Okay, for this next project, you're going to be creating of a face. So that you see what it looks like, just going to bring it up kind of quick here so you can see kind of an example of what the image is going to look like. So if you typed in text in face. All right, oops, no. Type in face, there we go. So you can see these kind of images. And I'm going to show you a lot of them in class, but you'll get an idea. All right, in order to start this project, what you're going to need is a face. So you're going to open up Google. You're going to find somebody. I suggest a musician. We could also use animals. That's fine. You're going to go to images. Then you're going to go to search tools. You're going to go to color. Let's choose black and white for this project. And then also make sure that the size is bigger than 1024 by 768. The ones that have a white background are going to be better for you if you can find one. If not, come to me and I'll show you the steps to kind of fix it up. But in the meantime, I'm going to choose this one right here. I'm going to click View Image to open it, and then you're going to drag it into your folder. Now for me, I'm going to drag it onto my desktop, but you should drag it into your folder. Once you've done that, you're going to right-click with this, Open with Photoshop. And give it a second here to open up. Okay, once it opens up, you're going to go to File and New. The size of this file is going to be the same as the first project. Make sure it's inches. It's going to be 8.5 by 11, 300 for the resolution, RGB and white. At the top, you're going to put your name. So for example, I'll put Shimsky, and then you're going to put project 2, or text project is fine. And you're going to hit OK. And once this opens up, you're going to pull the tabs apart. Then you're going to go over to the Move tool at the top of the toolbar, click, hold, drag, or drop onto the new white piece. Then you can close out of this original one. You won't need it anymore. Then once it's like this, you'll see you have two layers, the background, and you have layer 1. Please click on layer 1. Then go to Edit, Free Transform. You'll see a bounding box gets put around it. Do not pull from the tops or the sides, only from the corner. Hold Shift while you pull from the corner. You must hold Shift. Hold Shift and pull. I could also hold Shift and Option together and pull. So get it a good size. That looks about right there. Now you're going to notice that it looks fuzzy. Don't worry. Just hit the check box or hit Enter on your keyboard. And boom, it's back. So then from there we got a couple of steps to do. Stay on layer 1. You're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. From there I'd like you to pick about a 5 or so on the radius of blurring it. And then you're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and Threshold. When the threshold box pops up, it's your job to kind of go through this and decide how much white, how much black, and somewhere in between is where you want to kind of get it if you can. All right? So something like that would be okay. If you find that it looks weird or something, you could always leave it without a Gaussian blur. So forget about the Gaussian blur and go straight to Adjustments and Threshold and see if it makes a difference. In this case, it doesn't make it that much of a difference. Okay, you get a lot of these little specks which you are not going to fill in the tiniest specks anyway, so it's not a big deal. Alright, so back to what I did Gaussian blur, then I went to Image, Adjustments, and Threshold, and you pick how much, right? Now once you've done that, you say OK to it. Now if there's a lot of little pieces like in here, you can see what you want to get rid of because you don't need to fill them. You can either leave them and just not fill them, or if it bothers you, you can take the brush, choose a little white as your color, and simply get rid of them so there's not quite as much to worry about. If you see that there's some gaps in places, like here in his beard, there's a little piece of white, you can switch to black and just cover those up if it bothers you. Just another little piece you don't absolutely have to do, but you can. You'll also notice that there are some bumpy kind of edges here, right? So like here, it's kind of bumpy. You're welcome to take your brush and kind of smooth these areas out so that they're not quite as bumpy. That's totally something you can do. It'll make your life easier if you do it. And then from there, you're going to go to the text tool on your toolbar. Make sure that loads up. That might take a couple of seconds to load up. Okay, go to layer 1, lock layer 1, then use that text tool, make it a different color. So click up there to select a different color. I'll make it red just so you can see. And then you're going to click. And I would start at a large size like a 48 or a 60. Type in what you want to type in, right? When you highlight this, you can change the space between the letters. If you go to Window, Character, this pops up, your Characters panel pops up here. And you can change right here. This is the tracking, this is the space between the letters. So if I put it to 0, see it kind of gets tight like that. Okay, so you say okay. Here's the layers again. Here's that layer I just made, the one that says weekend on it, right? This one. You're going to click on that layer, right click, rasterize. We went over this in class. And then you're going to go edit and free transform, which is Command T on your keyboard, this one right here. When the box gets put around it, you hold Shift and you can pull from the corner, or you can let go of Shift now, and now you can kind of stretch it up and down, twist it. You can also go off to the edge, turn it. There's a little dot in the center. You can move the dot wherever you'd like and then turn it from there. You can also, after you've rasterized it, and then you do. Okay, and from there, not only can you rotate and put the point somewhere and rotate that, but you can also right click. You can distort, which means you can pull any edge. If you hold Option, it pulls 2 edges at once. You can skew, same kind of a thing. 2 options, you can hold Option, or you can do one side at a time if you let go of Option. You can right click and do perspective, which makes it look like it's coming at you or kind of going away from you. And you can also do warp, which allows you to really twist and turn and bend the letters to your liking. You can also click in the center and kind of move it around. Now once you have one of these, you're welcome to click again, type into something again, hit OK, right click, rasterize, edit, Command T to free transform, and then it's the same thing again. Rotate, move, skew, distort, warp, whatever you want it to be. Okay. If you like one and you want to use it again, you can simply take the layer and move it to the new layer button, and that will copy it. Now I got 2. Just take the move tool and you'll see that it moves over. You also have the option of going to the move tool, holding Option on your keyboard and just clicking and dragging, which will also give you a second one. Now then you can do Command T and just kind of resize it, put it where you want to be, right click, warp it a little bit so it fits exactly in where you want it to fit in. Like that, right? Everything looks good. Click OK. Your job is to fill in all of the black area. Every single piece of black. Small letters, big letters. I don't care what color you use, and I don't care what font you use.